do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it? Which one is it?
I think I'll just be the female version of Steph Curry.
When NBA legend Steph Curry stepped into the spotlight this time, it wasn't about rings or record-breaking threes. It was to back up rising star Caitlin Clark with serious fire. Nobody saw it coming. The media frenzy around Caitlin was out of control. Critics were everywhere, dragging her name through the mud. But Curry, known for keeping his cool, finally had enough. He broke his silence with a fiery statement that had fans' jaws on the floor. He shut the haters down and sent social media into meltdown. So what exactly did he say that made the whole basketball world freeze? And why has his bold support flipped the narrative around Caitlin Clark in such a huge way?
When they get to kind of plant their flag, what Valkyrie basketball means around here, so pretty excited to watch it.
His words weren't just loud, they were a warning shot. Caitlin Clark has been stealing hearts left and right with her wild range, killer instincts, and that nonstop hustle. She's not just good, she's a once-in-a-generation type of baller, the kind that makes you stop and say, "Yo, did you see that?" She doesn't just play the game, she bends the rules with her own style. Fans are on their feet every time she touches the ball, watching her shake things up and leave defenders stunned. But while Caitlin was lighting it up on the court, something shady was happening in the background. The WNBA, the league she's put on the map, stayed oddly quiet while she got treated like a punching bag out there. Game after game, she took cheap fouls and hard hits that felt more like payback than defense. This wasn't just regular physical play. These hits felt personal, like someone wanted her slowed down, wanted her rattled. And off the court, the media wasn't any better. Instead of praising her grind, some folks were more focused on tearing her down, questioning if she even belonged at the top. And through it all, the league stayed silent. No statements, no tougher calls, no one stepping in, not a word from the higher-ups. The silence from the WNBA had people shook. How could they just sit back while their brightest new star got targeted? Fans weren't having it. They saw what was happening and started speaking up, but many in the media and even players didn't know how to talk about it. Like everyone was afraid to break the code of silence, but under that silence, a storm was building. This wasn't just about refs missing calls. This was about a league sitting back while one of its biggest assets got bruised and disrespected in real time, and doing next to nothing about it. Then boom, someone finally said something, and it wasn't the league. It wasn't the officials. It wasn't some random coach. The silence shattered when some of the biggest voices in the sport, NBA legends and stars, stood up and said enough is enough, and they didn't sugarcoat it. They spoke loud, clear, and from the heart. They didn't just defend Caitlin's game. They demanded that she be treated with respect. That moment flipped the whole story on its head. Now it wasn't just about Caitlin anymore. It was about a movement. It was about the game finally starting to treat women with the same respect and protection as the men. The silence was over. The noise was real, and it was powerful. So now that the truth's out, people are finally asking the real questions. What's really going on with Caitlin Clark? Who had the guts to speak up? And why is all this attention something she absolutely earned? Let's get into it. Because when the legends of the game speak, the entire basketball world listens. Their words hit harder than any highlight reel. They shape culture, shift momentum, and sometimes even rewrite history. So when Steph Curry, one of the most respected shooters ever, came out swinging in defense of Caitlin Clark, it wasn't just some kind words. It was a straight-up shot at the system, a challenge to the league, and a message to every player watching. This can't go on. Steph Curry didn't just say she's good, he went straight for the jugular. He called out the WNBA for turning a blind eye while Caitlin Clark was getting hammered on the court. No protection, no backup, no leadership stepping in, and Steph had it. His words sliced through the noise and hit different. He made one thing clear. Caitlin Clark deserves respect, real support, and fair treatment. No excuses. And when a legend like Curry speaks like that, everybody in the game takes notice, but he wasn't alone. That was just the beginning. Then came LeBron James. Yeah, that LeBron, who's basically been the face of basketball for 2 decades. He didn't sugarcoat anything either. LeBron straight up called Caitlin a true game changer. He knows what it means to shift the entire vibe of a sport. And by backing Caitlin, he confirmed she's doing exactly that for women's basketball. More fans, more eyes, more respect. She's turning the spotlight on a league that had been slept on for way too long. And then Luka Doncic jumped in. Luka's not just flashy, he plays with magic, and his words hold weight. He didn't just give her props, he said Caitlin is the best active women's basketball player. That's wild. Luka sees the game through elite eyes, and for him to call her the top dog, that's not hype, it's truth. He sees her fire, her grind, and the wave she's already making across the world. Even Trae Young, king of the deep three, saluted her. He challenged Caitlin to a 3-point shootout at the NBA All-Star event. It was playful, yeah, but it was also a serious tip of the hat. A sniper recognizing another sniper, that's respect on a whole other level. Then Tyrese Halliburton, Mr. Calm and Collected himself, put it all into perspective. He said Caitlin is top 5 most famous basketball players on the planet. Men and women, let that sink in. He's saying she's up there with Steph, LeBron, and the biggest global icons. That's not some puff piece. It's the truth about how massive her influence is becoming. And these NBA stars weren't reading off cue cards. This wasn't some corporate PR play. This was real talk. Raw respect from hoopers who live and breathe this game. They weren't hyping her up just to be nice. They were saluting her impact. Caitlin Clark isn't just on the rise. She is the rise. A once-in-a-generation force who's flipping the script in real time. She's not waiting for the world to catch up. She's already there. So how did she go from WNBA rookie to global icon? Let's break it down, because when Caitlin Clark steps on that court, it's not just a game, it's a spectacle. The vibe changes, arenas fill up, fans go wild, and TV ratings hit the roof. Every time she suits up, it's prime time. And folks aren't just watching. They're locked in, tweeting, posting, and talking nonstop. She's not just boosting numbers. She's rewriting what women's basketball looks like. Her range, unreal. She'll pull up from anywhere and splash it like it's nothing. Her passing, slick, sharp, and full of sauce, and her confidence, you can feel it through the screen. That swagger, that fire, she makes every game a show. But that's just part of her magic. The real difference? She's shaking up the entire culture. NBA champ Pascal Siakam even said it. When asked who gets the most love from fans, he didn't drop a teammate's name. He said, Caitlin Clark. That's next level respect. He's putting her on the same pedestal as the biggest male stars in the game. Then there's Obi Toppin, known for his flashy play and dunks, who took it deeper. He didn't just compliment her, he called her an equal, a warrior who plays with the same passion and drive as the pros he suits up with every night. That kind of praise doesn't come easy, and it's real. But maybe the wildest recognition came from Steph Curry himself. The greatest shooter the game's ever seen didn't just respect Caitlin, he revered her. He said she reminds him of himself. That's legendary. That's the passing of the torch in real time. So think about that. When NBA superstars, guys who've battled at the highest levels, talk about Caitlin Clark with the same energy they use for their elite peers, that's not hype. That's proof she's not just changing the game, she's defining it on her own terms. Caitlin Clark isn't just closing the gap between men's and women's basketball, she's blowing it wide open. She's crushing old school mindsets about what women can do on the court and setting a brand new standard. Caitlin's not just joining the combo, she's running it. Her game, her vibe, her influence, they're reshaping the future of basketball right before our eyes and inspiring a new wave of fans and players to dream bigger. In a world where sports are often split down the middle by gender, Caitlin Clark is proof that real greatness doesn't care about lines or labels. Her rise isn't just a personal win. It's a movement that's smashing viewership records, grabbing headlines, and flipping the script on what's possible. And best believe, she's just getting started. So why does Steph Curry stepping in to defend her hit so hard? Why does his voice carry so much power in this moment? Is it because he knows exactly what greatness looks like? Or is it because he sees himself in her grind? Let's break down who Steph Curry really is. The man behind the jumper that changed the league forever. Steph Curry, aka the baby-faced assassin, is the superstar point guard for the Golden State Warriors and one of the most revolutionary hoopers the sport has ever seen. His deep threes, insane handles, and cool under-pressure style didn't just win games, they changed the entire game. It all kicked off in 2009 when he was picked 7th in the NBA draft. But even before that, he had college hoops buzzing while putting Davidson on the map. His shooting was unreal, his leadership next level, and people were already whispering, this kid might be special. Spoiler alert, he was. Fast forward to now, 16 seasons deep with the Warriors, and he's not just their star, he's their heart and soul. With 4 NBA titles to his name, Curry's legacy is locked in. He didn't just win rings, he built a dynasty and changed how the game is played around the world. And it's not just about the bling. Steph's won the MVP twice, and one of those was unanimous. That means every single voter said he was the best in the league that year. That's never been done before in NBA history. He's that guy. And in 2022, he finally secured that long-awaited Finals MVP, a title that put any doubts to rest. He's a complete champion now, someone who shows up when the pressure's highest and the lights are brightest. But that trophy shelf, it just keeps growing. Steph's a 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, and in a league full of clutch players, he was crowned Clutch Player of the Year. He also became the first ever NBA Western Conference Finals MVP in 2022, a new milestone, added to a resume full of records. And of course, when we talk Steph Curry, we got to talk threes. Nobody, and we mean nobody, has hit more from deep than him. He's got the records, the range, and that snap-quick release that defenders still can't figure out. His shooting didn't just make headlines, it transformed how every team in the league plays the game now. Steph isn't just a shooter, he's a revolutionary. And that's why when he says Caitlin Clark deserves better, the whole world listens, because if he sees greatness in her, then it's not up for debate. These days, young hoopers grow up dreaming of shooting like Steph. Whole NBA teams have flipped their game plans just trying to keep up with the way he changed the sport. But Curry's magic isn't locked inside the NBA. He's taken that fire global. He's proudly repped Team USA, grabbing gold medals like it's second nature. 2 golds at the FIBA World Cup, check. And then he went and bagged another at the 2024 Olympics, it's clear. Steph doesn't just dominate in one league, he runs the court anywhere in the world. But more than just a player, Steph Curry is a full-blown movement. Whether he's raining threes, leading his squad to a title, or inspiring millions worldwide, the man's influence runs deep. From Davidson to the Olympics, his whole legacy is built on hustle, unreal talent, and the belief that no shot is ever too far. So when Steph Curry stands up for Caitlin Clark, that says something huge. But here's the question, does the whole league have her back too? Or is Steph standing solo while others stay quiet? Let's dig into it. Silent shadows and bold choices. While some NBA stars have thrown their full support behind Caitlin, not everyone's been riding with her. The truth, a lot of big names have stayed real quiet. And that silence, it speaks volumes. Take Jason Tatum, for example. When he was asked about his favorite WNBA player, the spotlight was wide open. Perfect chance to mention Caitlin, someone who's brought more eyes to the league than anyone in years. But instead, Tatum dropped a cold, flat answer. He named someone else with no explanation, no excitement, just kept it moving. That wasn't just a miss, it felt like a deliberate dodge. To fans, it stung. When one of the league's brightest young stars can't even throw a little love toward the player who's carrying the women's game, that's more than just silence. It's a signal. It shows that even now, with all the progress, Caitlin's still running into walls built by people who don't want to acknowledge what she's done. Then came Kevin Durant. When asked to name his favorite female athlete, the world leaned in, expecting Caitlin's name. After all, she's everywhere, breaking records, setting viewership highs, packing arenas. But Durant didn't bite. Instead, he picked Angel Reese, Caitlin's biggest rival. Nothing wrong with praising another baller, except when it feels like a quiet way of avoiding Caitlin's name. This wasn't just about preference, it felt pointed, like a strategic move to shift the spotlight somewhere else. To many fans, it read as a subtle snub. Not full-blown hate, but a decision to not be part of Caitlin's rise. Why does this matter? Because these aren't just random opinions. They show something deeper. A cultural tension bubbling just beneath the surface. This is bigger than basketball. It's about people wrestling with change, and not everyone's built for that. Caitlin Clark's rise isn't a comfy little underdog story. It's a shakeup. She's turning traditions on their head. For some folks, that brings out admiration, but for others, it sparks jealousy, discomfort, and even resistance. Some players may not say it out loud, but their silence, that says plenty. Let's be real. When NBA stars hesitate to back Caitlin, it's not because they don't see her greatness, it's because she's redefining the game. She's breaking down long-standing boundaries and forcing people to rethink what's possible for women in sports. Her rise makes people uncomfortable. And that's exactly why it matters, because Caitlin Clark isn't just racking up points, she's rattling the foundation. She's proving women's basketball isn't some sideshow, it's a main event. And that shakes up an entire system that wasn't ready for it. So yeah, when the Giants stay silent or take sides, that tells you everything. Caitlin isn't just scoring buckets, she's starting a reckoning. And that's what makes her presence so powerful. Caitlin Clark's rise isn't just about highlight reels and breaking records. It forces everyone to face the truth about what female athletes really go through. Not just the hard hits on the court, but the tougher battles off it, in people's opinions, in the media, and behind closed doors. Her journey shows us that equality in sports is still a fight, one that's far from over. Sure, the love from NBA stars has been huge, powerful even, but the silence, the shady responses, and the ones who look the other way, that says a lot too. Caitlin's success is like a spotlight. It reveals everything, the good, the bad, and all the messy parts of sports culture that people would rather ignore. But here's the twist. Every awkward silence and shady sidestep only proves her impact is too big to ignore. She's not just catching attention, she's making waves that even the biggest names can't sidestep. Her power goes way beyond her range or flashy assists. It's in how she's changing the entire vibe of the sport. Caitlin Clark is in the middle of a quiet revolution, and she's not slowing down for anybody. Let's talk about it. the fearless trailblazer who's rewriting the rules of women's basketball. What Caitlin's doing right now, this isn't just some hype wave or a trending moment that fades away. No way. This is history in motion. She's not just making noise, she's building a legacy. Every time she steps on the hardwood, she's carrying the entire WNBA on her back. And whether folks want to admit it or not, she's forcing the entire basketball world to finally stop and watch. But don't get it twisted, this road isn't smooth. Caitlin faces more than just tough defenders. She deals with constant criticism, wild pressure, and headlines that try to question her place. The hits she takes, yeah, they're physical, but the mental and emotional punches come just as hard. Through it all, she never snaps back or loses focus. Instead, she does what she does best. She lets her game do the talking. That kind of strength is rare. The type that makes legends pause and pay respect. When the greats speak up to support someone, that means something real is happening. Caitlin's not just changing how we watch women's hoops, she's changing the entire game itself. Crowds are getting bigger, TV ratings are climbing. People who never tuned into a WNBA game are now glued to the screen because of her. And the buzz? It's not just about step-back threes or crazy passes, it's about how she's inspiring change, smashing stereotypes, and kicking down doors for the next generation. She's putting the WNBA in a whole new spotlight, one that's long overdue. The league's getting stronger, more sponsors, better contracts, and a louder voice. Caitlin is at the center of that shift. With every shot, every pass, every fearless play, she's pushing the game into a bold new era. What's wild is how she refuses to let anyone define her. People try to box her in, label her by her age, her gender, or the roadblocks she faces, but she doesn't care. Caitlin Clark lets her talent do the talking. Her work ethic, her mindset, her fire, that's her story. She's not here to fit in, she's here to stand out. She's not just part of the change, she is the change. Fans, players, and entire leagues are now rethinking what women's basketball can truly be, and it's all because of her. Caitlin Clark isn't just rising anymore, she's soaring. And the craziest part, this is only the beginning. The challenges will grow, the spotlight will get hotter, the pressure even heavier. But if what we've seen so far is any clue, she's more than ready for all of it. So now it's your turn. What do you think about Steph Curry's bold defense of Caitlin Clark? Was it long overdue? Was it exactly what the game needed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more stories like this. And we'll see you on the next one.